Okay, the next thing I'm going to program are going to be the PowerPoints. So those are going to be the things that you eat in order to get a score. So I'm going to make a brand new sprite again. So I'll just paint one. And I'm going to use the circle tool. And now I'm actually going to make sure it's solid. And I got to choose the color of my point. So I'm going to choose this kind of murky blue right there. And now I just need to draw myself the circle. So I'll press Shift while I do it so it goes to a perfect circle. Just like that. And I'll go back to scripts, and my point is right here. It's very tiny, so you can make it whatever size you want. If you make it bigger, you can do that. You can make it smaller, whatever you want. In fact, I might actually change the size of this, and I might actually set size to, let's try 125. That works for me. A little bit easier to grab and move around. So now the way that the PowerPoints work, I should say, are I'm going to set up some code here that says when the space key is pressed, forever, if will sense touching Pacman, then something down here is going to happen. And so I'm going to set it so that it will actually disappear. So I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to say hide. Now, anytime we use a hide, we also want to use a show. So I'm going to use the space key again and say that whenever I press the space key, it shows up. So what happens with this is now whenever I touch the PowerPoint, it's going to hide. It looks like I'm kind of eating it. That's awesome, but not necessarily what I want quite yet because it still hasn't actually changed the score. So I'm going to go to data, make a variable, and I'm going to call this one score. And I'll press OK on that. Now I want this to actually be the score that is going to work for me a little bit better. So I might actually move this to a spot that it's not going to interfere with everything else. So I might move it up there or something like that. I'll probably move it a little bit later on. But now I'm going to say that when the space key is pressed, I'll actually put this on Pacman so that it's a little bit more consistent. We're going to have like 50,000 pills. So I'll say that when the space key is pressed, set score to 0. And so now, whenever we restart our game, it's going to take us back right to the very beginning. I'm going to go to the power pill that I created. And, oh, I should have renamed that as well. So I'll call this one point pill. And now, whenever we touch Pacman, we're also going to change score by 1. Very simple code, and it should work wonderfully. Now, I'm also going to try to keep track of how many pills I have here so that I can put some code on here that says that when the score gets to a certain amount, it's actually going to start flashing on and off so that we know that we've hit the end of our game. So for now, I'm going to say that I'm only going to have 10 points, or I'll make it 20, I guess. So I'm going to say that if score is greater than 19, which means if it's 20 or higher, then it's going to start doing some stuff. It's going to potentially start showing and hiding and all that kind of stuff. I can also put a code just in reverse on here that says that if score is less than 20, meaning if it's 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 19, then this code will activate and it'll actually let us change our score. So I'll put that one on as well. I'll duplicate this and I'll change a symbol to be less than. And I'm going to change this one to 20 now. And I'll put this along here. So as soon as our score gets up to 20 points, then we will no longer be able to add any points to our score. If our score is greater than 19, so if it's 20 or higher, then I'm going to put a forever loop on this. It's going to, I'll go to looks and I'll use a ghost effect. So I'm going to change ghost effect by, let's say 5. And ghost effect goes up to 100. So I'm going to put this in a repeat loop for 20 times. So again, 5 times 20 is 100. And so if we're going up by that, then I'll also duplicate that, and we will go down by -5. So it keeps going back and forth. And I'll put that in there, and I'll throw an event onto it as well. So I'll go to events, and when the space key is pressed, it will actually go and do that. So now I'll actually press the space key and start my game again. Actually, I'm going to put one more piece of code. I'll delete this right afterwards, but I just want to let you see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to take this code off here, and on my power pill, I'm going to set some code that says when I press the space key, it's going to set the score to 19. So that way, when I hit this pill, it'll actually stop the game. So I will stop that all. Space key. My score is currently 19. Now, when I hit the pill, nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? Score is greater than 19. Oh, I'm changing the color. That's why. Silly me. I'm going to set this to be ghost, and I'll set this to be ghost as well. And now I'm also going to put some code on here that says show. So it shows up. And so now if I were to stop this and restart my game, I'll just move Pacman right over here, and I'll press the space key. If I hit the pill and it goes to 20, the ghost is going to start showing up again and again. If I go over the pill multiple times, it's not going to allow Pacman to eat him. So I'll just set this back to normal, where the score is going to be equal to 0, and I'll take the score off of this one. And now I can put 20 of these point pills around the map, wherever I'd like to put them. And so I'll actually do that not on video, just so you're not sitting here forever.